DIY PPF is something you can absolutely do, and the new Refresh Model Y, because of the way this car is designed, lends itself to a much more enjoyable, a much easier installation process than the previous generation. And that's why today I'm going to show you this installation. I'm going to get up close and personal, show you everything about this. We'll have a time lapse at the end of the full installation on this. I'm telling you right now, after wrapping a number of cars with PPF, this is by far the easiest Model Y to wrap, and you can absolutely do it yourself. Now, of course, what you're looking at behind me is our brand new Tesla Model Y Juniper, and this car, I just finished putting PPF on the entire car. Now, I have PPF'd all of our cars, and there's very good reason for that. It's actually become quite simple to do with some of the kits that are out there. This one from TesBros, and this kit is actually kind of unique from the other ones out there because the way that it's packaged and the things that it comes with makes this quite possibly the most DIY friendly kit on the market, and price is really, really good. So in my area, to get a Model Y PPF wrapped clear just like this, we're talking something like $6,500 plus. That is a lot of money. I mean, you could repaint this car for way less than that, but that doesn't mean that's what I want to do. I still want to protect this car because I want it to look good for all the years that we will have it. We're constantly on the road, and the only way to really protect the paint is to put a PPF layer on it. That PPF will help absorb some of the impacts from rocks and things like that and prevent the paint underneath from being chipped and scratched. So with PPF, you can literally drive it through a car wash, although it's probably not recommended. I certainly do. We drive through the car wash all the time, and it is because I have this protective layer on the vehicle. It's not going to get to the paint underneath. And this Model Y is so much easier than the previous generation Model Y, and I'll show you up close where those areas are and why that is the case. This car is the most DIY friendly Model Y to date. There's a couple of design features of this car that just lend itself to being easier to wrap with PPF. Now, of course, you can get a number of different sets of PPF. You can do just the front. You can do a partial front. Doing just the front of the vehicle where it's exposed to all of that stuff on the highway, that's not a bad idea, at least starting there. For that, you're talking something like $600, $700 to do just the full front of this car. To do the entire car, you're talking something like $1,700. And that's in comparison to $6,500 plus in my area. The best quote I have received for clear PPF on our Model Y was $6,500. And it goes up from there. It is painfully expensive to have this done professionally. So for a lot less money, you may not get the perfect result, but you're going to get dang close. And I argue with the new Model Y, you're actually going to get really good results. I'm going to show you up close how well this one laid out, because I think you'll be surprised. This one is definitely DIY friendly. So even if you have a couple of blemishes, do you have $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 worth of blemishes? No way, man. And that is why DIY is so awesome for PPF. So with that, let's take a closer look. I'm going to show you how this looks at the end of the video. I'll do a time lapse so you can see the entire installation process. And with this kit from TesBros, they have an entire catalog of all the installation videos you would need. Each panel, they have a video for it in their catalog that once you buy this kit, you'll have access to all of that. So I'll show you how I do it, but they have even more detail on how to do this. So first, we'll kind of walk around the vehicle and be able to see for yourself. There's not anything you're going to see that's a defect from installation just from walking around this. And I'm actually proud of myself. I did probably the best I've ever done with PPF anyways on this kit. But again, I'll show you why. But let me show you some of the up close details and some of the areas that make this actually easier to wrap. Here's one right here, front and center. We have our mirrors. And because of this new design on this mirror for aero, it actually makes breaking up this piece to cover the mirror quite easy. And you can see, so it's not perfect underneath there. There's a little bit of stuff that I could probably trim away, but was able to wrap the whole mirror pretty well. Coming here to the door, this is usually an area where a lot of kits people have issues with. If you look, you can't see anything on this door edge, except for right there maybe. That little spot didn't stick down. So now it's down. It looks so good, and that is because there's enough material wrapping around that it can actually grab really well. And looking at all of these doors, that is definitely the case, which makes it nice because these do wrap around the edges, and not having it so exposed after makes it look like a nice professional install. Underneath the hood here, around the fenders, you can see, well, I guess you can't see, but maybe if you look really hard, you can see that little line there. That's how far over the edge it's going. Nice, good hold, nothing sticking up. And the hood, likewise, just like on the door, it holds on really nicely. And I don't have a bunch of fingers here. And that is because the way that this hood is shaped, rather than being really exaggerated bowing, it's got actually a nice sharp corner, so the wrap can actually stop right there on the corner, and it can have a clean break over here, making it a lot easier to wrap this hood without a bunch of fingers stuck underneath. Another area that you don't have to worry about is underneath here, because now this is all plastic, not a painted surface, which makes the front bumper even easier to install. This whole front bumper was the easiest bumper I've ever done on a Model Y, and we don't have where underneath the headlights the bumper goes up and over, so that eliminates that issue. It's literally straight across on the front. Nice big wide front face here, and around the edges it's just a little bit of stretching, so nothing crazy like on the previous Model Y where there was a lot of stuff you had to do to get all the fingers down. Everything just lays out so nicely on the front of the new Model Y. Now the next part that is easier on this car, and that is the rear in the bumper area. So in the previous Model Y, this whole piece right here was actually connected via a small sliver of a painted surface that connected to this other side. But that's not the case here. It's two individual pieces, so it's a smaller PPF piece on this side and another one on the other side, rather than one continuous piece. Now on the liftgate here, very similar to the previous gen, although slightly different shape. It's still relatively flat, one square-ish piece, so that's easy enough. On the top, this is always a little bit difficult because of this lip up here, and as you can see on my kit, I actually did end up getting some dirt underneath there after I finished wrapping this, and this is very hard to get just right. And a lot of that is because lining up this bottom piece with this top piece means this is where you spend all of your effort lining things up, not back here. So to get around that, you can trim this, and I probably will trim some of that off just a little bit, very carefully, of course. And then right here, this being another separate piece does make this whole section easier, but as you can see, it's not the cleanest finish here. And that's because I could not tuck underneath here quite so well, because it was a lot tighter on this side than it was on the other side. So I'll probably trim some of that as well, but being able to tuck that in down there is a nice way to get this to be a good, clean, seamless finish. Now, somehow when I did this, I did actually a really good job when it comes to bubbles. I didn't have a lot, and a number of them that I did have kind of melted away in the sun. There is one over here I've been keeping an eye on, and I wanted to show you on camera how we deal with bubbles. This is a diabetic's needle. They come in packs of like 10 or 50 or whatever, but they're very inexpensive. But you can see, maybe, super small needle. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to press this in on this little bubble here. and you can see I'm at a little bit of an angle, but once we get that in there, I'm actually going to pull on the suction. Well, not this time. Once that's poked anyways, you can squeeze that. But when you have both hands, you can actually just pull like a suction by pulling this needle out, and it'll suck the air or moisture out of that bubble. But you can see now that bubble's gone. Really good demonstration. I just washed this car today. We've driven it probably 25 miles just today. You can see, I mean, stuff's already just everywhere, all over the side, even all the way up here. So this stuff is literally kicking up on the side of the car, and PPF in place is stopping that from hitting the paint, which is really a big deal. Now, mud flaps are definitely needed to stop a lot of this, but PPF is another way to help protect this whole area of the vehicle. The older Model Y used to provide a little bit of PPF that you could put right here. That's no longer the case, it seems. So something to really think hard about. So here is the kit from TesBros. It comes nicely packaged, and everything that comes with the kit all fits in this box. You can see the couple of spray bottles here, and they are double action. They are really awesome. It even comes with the alcohol you need to make your tack solution, and then all the cleaning supplies as well. Shampoo, prep wash, and even a clay bar, which is really nice. You should absolutely use that between panels. And then some really nice microfibers for cleaning and drying as well. And then this is brilliant. These are pre-measured packets for the slick solution, just one packet per filled 32-ounce bottle, and of course all the squeegees. It also comes with this practice kit, so you can try this out, get a feel for how this thing works. And then this bottle, this is extra. There's a link in the description for this. I highly recommend it. You can use 2 packets when you fill this up for the slick solution, but this is a no-brainer. So that is the install. This thing you can absolutely do yourself. I promise you, you can do yourself. I've never done this well wrapping a car before, and a lot of that is because the way the new refresh Model Y is designed, it lends itself to a much more enjoyable installation experience. So this car is a no-brainer. These are not cheap. Teslas are not cheap. They're going to provide a lot of value for a long time with full self-driving. Why not protect it? Especially if you're thinking about rideshare or any of that other stuff. Just protect the car. Keep it nice. Don't worry about the paint. For me, having this in the garage with the kids in and out, in and out, in and out, they're always rubbing up against this stuff. Even just the peace of mind for that, well worth it. That is why I wrap all of my cars, and this kit from TesBros is a no-brainer. I would highly recommend at least doing the front end of this car, giving it a shot, and then after you do that, you'll have a better feel for, is this something I want to keep going and do the rest of the car? I personally wrap the entire car. I don't think about anything. So make sure you follow the link below. It's the only way to get the discount is by using the link, and it'll get you the best possible price with the discount. There's no other way to get a better price than following that link. So with that, I thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.